Would you call the roll, please? Robert Kraus.
Present.
Jason Blair.
Here.
Kathy Griffith.
Here.
Terry Kavner.
Here.
David Roberts.
Here.
Janie Milam. Glenn Lewis.
Here. Would you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? At this time, item C on the agenda is the swearing in of mayor and the city council members by Judge Blake Virgin.
Thank you, Mayor. Those who are here tonight to be sworn in will come stand as well. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, David Roberts,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma,
and the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma,
that I will not knowingly receive,
that I will not knowingly receive,
either directly or indirectly,
either directly or indirectly,
any money or other valuable thing,
any money or other valuable thing
for the performance or non-performance
for the performance or non-performance
of any act or duty
of any act or duty
pertaining to my office,
pertaining to my office,
other than the compensation
other than the compensation
allowed by law.
allowed by law.
I further swear
I further swear
I will perform my duties
I will perform my duties
as council member
as council member
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Item D is the roll call for the new membership.
Jason Blair.
Here.
Kathy Griffith.
Here.
Terry Kavner.
Here.
David Roberts.
Here.
Mark Ham.
Here.
Robert Kraus.
Here.
Glenn Lewis.
Here. Thank you. Item 2 is the consent docket. Item A is receive and approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting held April 2nd, 2012. Item B is receive the minutes of the regular Parks Board meeting held March 6, 2012. Item C is approve and ratify claims and expenditures excuse me, for FY 2011-2012 in the amount of $2,689,406.96.
Move to approve.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Everybody get their claims questions answered or any notes or changes to the minutes? If so, would you call for the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Terry Kavner.
Yes.
David Roberts.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Robert Kraus.
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 3 is consider renewal of the auditing services agreement with Dillon and Gage for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2012. Finance.
Mayor and council, it is time to renew our contract with our auditing firm. This firm has performed our audit for several years now. They provide great service. They are very timely and complete the audit quickly. The fee that they propose for next fiscal year is $38,000. That includes the general city audit, the single audit, the state reports that have to be completed also. This is up a little over $2,000 from the past year, but our staff will recommend that you approve this contract.
So you guys are confident that they're doing a good job?
Yes, they are doing a very good job.
Okay.
Make a motion we approve.
All right.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Terry Kavner.
Yes.
David Roberts,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Robert Kraus,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Kathy Griffin,
Yes.
Mayor Lewis.
Yes. Item carries. Excuse me. Item number 4 is consider a budget supplement for $5,000 for cemetery perpetual care, $23,000 for special revenue fund, and $178,050 for the designated half-cent sales tax fund.
Mayor and council, this budget supplement is to increase the current year funding, and all of these are funds that are on hand and available. They are either funded by the ball associations or our special sales tax or the cemetery perpetual care. The funds are there, and we recommend you approve this item.
Okay?
Make a motion to approve?
All right, thank you.
Second.
Thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
David Roberts,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Robert Kraus,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Kathy Griffin,
Yes.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Mayor Lewis.
Yes. Item carries. At this time, I'd like to explain to everybody, one of the reasons we go through these very fast is we actually get these agenda items about a week to 2 weeks ahead of time. So if we have any questions or anything, we can call up the staff and ask them on these projects before we actually get here to the meetings. So we have people ask me every once in a while, it's like, how come you guys go through these so fast and don't really have any discussion? It's hopefully we do our homework, and I do appreciate council for doing that. So on that being said, item number 5 is consider resolution number 738-12, adopting a schedule of fees and charges affecting upon approval and remaining in effect until modified, amended or repealed, and repealing prior inconsistent fees in establishing an off-site massage license fee.
Mayor and Council, several months ago, you'll recall that we approved an amendment to our massage licensing ordinance that allowed off-site massages. You remember the lady was here that performed the chair massages, and that ordinance was approved. In the ordinance, it was established with a $100 licensing fee, and we're just asking that this be incorporated over into the fee schedule in addition to what's in the ordinance.
Do we have a lot of these places?
Not that I'm aware of. I think we may have, of course, the lady and gentleman that were here, at least they have been in, and there may have been one other one that came in for their license maybe a week or 2 ago.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Make a motion to approve.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this item? If not, we have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Robert Kraus,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
David Roberts,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 6 is consider authorizing staff to solicit bids for a special light located at this is a note needs to be changed here in the agenda. It's Southeast 4th Street and Bryant intersection, not southwest.
Mayor and council, this intersection has been under review for some time. As our development has increased on the east side of Moore, we have been getting a lot more traffic along 4th Street, which also happens to be a state highway. And the offset intersection at Bryant and 4th Street has been creating some problems for some of our drivers out there. And you add to that some of our great improvements at Veterans Park, and it is becoming a lot more popular for walkers to try to cross 4th Street to get to the park. And that's really creating a mix that we want to be ahead of as far as safety for our drivers and our pedestrians. The sheet of the plans were included in your packet, and you'll notice that we're actually signalizing Bryant where it comes north of 4th Street, and then the entryway into the parking lot of Veterans Park. We have discussed this with our traffic engineers. They think that this will allow for better traffic circulation, where the offset south leg of Bryant will have chances to then turn left as the traffic is stopped on 4th Street. But we can always keep an eye on this, and if we need to do some more improvements to make sure that this offset intersection functions correctly, we can do that.
Elizabeth, is there a chance that we can get a light, like a warning light of some type at the top of the hill? So if you're coming westbound on 4th Street, you know that there's a park or something coming up?
Actually, we can look at that. That
Okay.
probably would be a good idea.
Because I drive that a lot, and there's a lot of cars. If you come fast over that hill, and all of a sudden there's a stoplight or people walking across the street, can
Sure, yeah, we can absolutely take a look at that.
at least something up there.
Okay, do we have a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this item? If not, we have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote?
Robert Kraus,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner.
Yes.
David Roberts,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 7 is consider More Vision 2020 Comprehensive Plan Amendment Number 31, located in the southwest quarter of Section 14, Township 10 North, Range 3 West, being south of Main Street and west of I-35, from low-density residential outside I-35 corridor to light commercial and medium commercial inside I-35 corridor. Application by Oklahoma Land Company. Ralph Tyler, Planning Commission, recommended approval of this item 6-0.
Mayor and Council, items number 7 and 8 on your agenda are companion items. These items were heard last council meeting and was tabled at your request to do some more research on the LED billboard signs. And these two parcels are located along the I-35 service road. They're just north and south of Main Street. Parcel 1 is currently vacant, and there are no plans for that parcel. Parcel 2 is developed with a non-conforming billboard sign, and the applicant proposes to upgrade that sign to an LED changeable sign face. So in order to do this, he does have to comply with the current zoning code, so that does need to be rezoned to C3, with the south lot, south of Main Street, rezoned as C2. The property is designated in the More Vision 2020 as low-density residential, and for the zoning, it does need to be increased to a light and medium commercial. And a lot of the Planning Commission's discussion did center around the change of the land use plan and possible effects that it may have on the existing neighborhood of the Electric Addition. All of the parcels in the Electric Addition on our comprehensive plan were designated as single-family residential. And that was done purposefully because at that time the Electric Addition was very active and wanted to maintain their addition as a residential addition without any commercial encroachments. The city staff agreed with them, and even though it was adjacent to I-35, we did note that the housing stock was of high quality, provided some good housing in the central part of Moore for a variety of income levels. So we did decide that it would be an asset to the community and the city to remain a continued residential use. However, since that time, and that was done in 2006, there hasn't been any action on the parcel that's south of Main Street. It still remains vacant today. And now we're having an application for the billboard sign. So a lot of the discussion at Planning Commission did focus around what to do about the south lot. And was it appropriate for commercial to encroach on the neighborhood? And if so, would it really create a transition of the neighborhood from residential to commercial? So after a lot of discussion about those items, the Planning Commission did decide that they supported this application simply because that lot that is south of Main Street, although it is shown as single-family residential, the basic fact is that no one would probably want to build a house there right next to I-35. But they did state that they did not want this to be seen as a precedent, or set a precedent, that the reason that they were in support of this application was because there was never a house there. It has remained vacant, and it is along the I-35 corridor. They did recommend that they have a 20-foot landscape buffer on the west and south sides of that lot as a buffering technique to mitigate any negative impacts that future commercial developments could have on the neighborhood. I did pass out a protest list. I just received this tonight from one of the residents in the electric addition. And since last meeting, I've done some research to answer some additional questions about LED and billboard signs in general, and the lighting of those signs. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And also the applicant is here, and there are some residents in the audience who would like to speak.
We have some people signed up to speak on this. Craig Fain? Okay, Robin? And if you could, please state your name and address for the record, so they'll have it in the minutes. Thank you.
Okay, my name's Robin Fain, and my address is 510 West Main. Okay. As Elizabeth said, I've provided you with a list of residents who are opposed to the commercial zoning of the electric addition. And I've been elected to be the spokesperson for some of the people that are not here. But we do have quite a group that have come to show their opposition on this. If you guys would like to stand or hold your hand up, or electric addition residents. I first wanted to say, you know, I may have said this before, but we have new people here now, and I want to make sure that some of my points are clear. We're the oldest neighborhood in Moore, and as you can see, a few years ago, there was somebody that tried to put in a hot dog stand on that south area there. They wanted to rezone that to commercial, and some of our neighbors band together at that time, and one of the people was Bob Greenlee. He's a lifetime resident in our neighborhood, and they decided that they would preserve the neighborhood and not put in that hot dog stand. The hot dog stand ended up, it's the one I'm speaking about, is the one on Main and Eastern. So this isn't the first time that we've had to unify to protect our community. We're basically here because really ODOT doesn't allow LED billboards in residential areas. And so in order to get an LED billboard in our area, then we have to change it to a commercial area. And not only that, we have to get this thing, he has to have the south side considered a commercial area for ODOT to approve it, because ODOT then looks at it as there's two areas that are, this is the way I understand it, that there's two areas that are zoned commercially, and so that gives the association that maybe this residence is on its way to total commercialization. And we're here to say that we do not want that in our neighborhood. Some of the things that I think need to be addressed is that we currently have no city ordinances that consider to update the rules and even any ordinances regarding an LED billboard in any residential neighborhood. So I'm not only here just for my neighborhood, I'm here for the other neighborhoods that are along I-35 that could possibly have, change their billboards to an LED. I really do feel like that if the city allows this type of commercialization, that in my area, we will lose control of the economic development of our community. And so we feel that it's really important to preserve the historic nature of our neighborhood. I've also, there's a lot of things that's been going around. We've heard that the company has offered one of our neighbors money to buy his home, and it's the house on the south side of the street, right next to the other south lot that they're trying to rezone. So my question is, if they're trying to buy his home from him, and we zone that commercial on that south side, and then he buys that home, I mean, you know, I feel like we're starting to really be encroached upon from somebody outside of our community that is, you know, trying to move in and change our neighborhood, basically. And I would like to at least keep, if our neighborhood is going to change, let's at least change it. Let's change it ourselves, not, you know, within the city of Moore and the people that are residents of Moore. We'll make the changes ourselves. We don't need somebody, you know, buying up our property, trying to buy our property and turn it into a commercial area. You know, so at some point, I just feel like that encroachment has to stop. There's been promises to some of the neighbors for landscaping and different promises made to different people, and nothing is in writing at this point. So I know that this type of advertisement is, there's a lot of money to be made on this, and actually, I mean, another area of concern to me is that if we did do this, our local retailers are not going to be able to even afford to advertise on this sign, because it's, from my research, it's about $1,200 a minute for advertising. So not only, you know, a lot of money there on just one side, but the other issue is that it's a two-faced billboard. So if we zone it commercial, he puts his billboard up on the north side, there's nothing to prevent him from putting another one up on the south side. So there's just another area that we're, you know, with no rules and regulations, we're just letting some things happen in our area that we don't have much control over. In another study that I've read, I've been doing lots of due diligence, obviously, on this because I have a vested interest. My family's owned that home there since the 1950s, and I now live there and have remodeled, and I love living there. I love that area, and I don't want to see my property devalued by billboard signs that are, you know, flashing a strobe light in my front yard and my windows. I mean, I want to be able to sit on my front porch and my swing. If you drive by my house, I have a swing out there. I don't really want a strobe light. You know, we don't want a strobe light on our front porches. I mean, it's just not a place for, I think there is a place for LED billboards, and they're fine outside of the city, you know, outside of residential areas. I think they look nice. That's all great. I just don't think within our residential area that that's a place to put it. Devaluing our property, and, you know, I think that eventually that could lead to urban decay, because as the property values go down, you know, who wants to buy a house over there and fix that if we have a strobe light in the front yard? I mean, you know, it could really impact our community, I feel like. Some of the things that the billboard industry will argue is that they could do they can put up amber alerts for us and stuff like that. Well, that's been in some of the literature about for the pros for the billboard. Amber alerts, the ODOT has already bought signs that they place on all the highways and major thoroughfares along the major routes. So an amber alert situation, I mean, that's really not a negotiating tool, in my opinion. ODOT's already had that covered for quite a while. You know, they are also saying in the material that we received on the first time I found out about this, they're saying that that you're not going to notice it because supposedly the lights that are there now, that are currently on that billboard, emits a lot of light already, and so we're not going to notice this LED as much because they're hooded lights the hooded, each little one is a hooded light. But if you have done your due diligence, which I believe last time we left here, you said you were all gonna go and stand under one at nighttime and see what it looks like. And I hope everybody has done that. Because basically, I mean, they're so bright that you can see it for miles around during the day. Why would you think that we're not gonna see it 250 feet away from my house? I live 250 feet from that sign. So I'm, you can't tell me I'm not gonna notice it. I mean, that's just not an argument to me. The other thing is the city doesn't stand to make anything from this situation. There's no property tax, any property tax if you raise the value of that area because of the more expensive sign. There's no property, the property taxes on that goes to the county. There's no, I just do not see any benefit to the city of Moore for doing that, to approve this. There's no gain to the city and there's no gain to the residents. I do have a question for Mr. Roberts. At the last meeting, you were quick to approve this, and I just was curious what your, I've done a lot of homework on this, and, maybe I was just wondering if I'm missing something here of why this should be an improvement to my area.
Yes, I'll respond to that. First of all, the billboards are going to continue to be there. And what we're talking about is the north side of that billboard, which as I see it, and as I have looked at other signs and so forth, will have absolutely no impact on that neighborhood. There is not an LED sign in this area, Oklahoma City, wherever, the metropolitan area, that has a two-sided LED sign. It's too much of an expense for an investor to put that much money in a small location. So I just don't see anything happening there. The sign that is there probably will have to have some renovation done to it, because right now the only way they can change that sign is to put a couple of guys up with a bucket truck to do it, because it doesn't meet OSHA standards. Now, Mr. Tyler didn't build that sign. That sign's been there approximately 40 years, and it was put there without it being rezoned. That wouldn't happen today.
It was grandfathered in, just like this situation where we don't have a city ordinance on LED signs. We're going to end up in that same situation again.
The other thing is, we do have an ordinance in the city of Moore that prevents any more billboards from going up. So, and as far as I know, this is a unique situation. It's the only billboard that is sitting in a non-commercial location. The other part of it is, I don't think that there's anything that can be, those two parcels of land there are not big enough to build anything. They're not big enough to build a residential dwelling on. They're just useless. And of course, if this does not go through, why then Mr. Tyler will not be the owner of that south area, and you'll be back to where you've been for years. It's just a terrible piece of property. I, obviously have had a conversation with Mr. Tyler about this. There's no gain, for me, but I felt like that he has a reputation as a community leader in South Oklahoma City, a sterling reputation, I might say, and I felt like that it was a chance for us to maybe get something done on that south track, that there'd be some attractive landscaping and so forth. So, I've sat here a number of years, and we've come across a few situations like that before, and everybody, enunciates their worst fears on a piece of property like that. I just don't see it being something that's going to harm that neighborhood. If it was, I wouldn't have supported it to begin with.
Would you like to buy my house with an LED sign at 250 feet from
That
it?
LED sign's not going to be facing you.
And if you think we're not going to notice that
I
strobe light effect?
I don't think so, because I have driven by several of them, and there's no outward that goes out to the side or to the back?
Well, I have been underneath one, and there, it does illuminate, it changes colors. Every flash, it changes colors all around there. When you have, I mean, I don't see how you can even tell me that we're not gonna notice that flash. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, and it has, and there's, you know, Norman does not allow any LED signs. Edmond does not allow any LED signs. And if you look around, you never see anything in a residential area. I mean, this is just, you know, I don't know. As far as the south side not being like, you talked about some landscaping, I haven't seen anything in writing on any type of landscaping. I haven't seen any plans. I haven't seen anything in writing that they're gonna do any type of improvement to that area. So I would be opposed until I either have some ordinances and some things in writing on how he's gonna, you know, be an improvement to my community, to my neighborhood.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Laura Walker.
My name is Laura Walker. I live at 504 West Main. First of all, I'd like to say I'm proud to be a part of the community of Moore. I am an active member in the community. I'm a business owner in Old Town. At one time, I was the secretary of the Old Town Association. It's nice to be part of something. And I own the first brick house built in Moore, built by Sally and Mel Dyer, which is diagonal across the street from where the sign is. I'm raising my family there, and it's historic. There aren't many historical sites in Moore. Most of them are gone. And I think it's important to keep the heart of Moore there. We're right down the street from Old Town. We're building that up. Why tear down the historic neighborhood? I think it's a safety hazard. I think people aren't going to be paying attention on the highway. There could be more accidents. We have kids playing, lots of kids in the neighborhood. Excuse me. It's going to draw negative activity from the highway to our neighborhood. People that may have never known our neighborhood before might notice it now. That could cause crime. Again, like Robin said, I don't know what the city would have to benefit from this because I can't afford to advertise on it. Most people can't at the price that it is. So it's going to drive our dollars to Norman or Oklahoma City instead of keeping it here with us where we need it. And I just hope that the city would want to preserve some history of Moore. And I think that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Craig Fang.
Craig Fang, 508 Southwest 2nd. You know, Robin covered it pretty well. The ordinances, if we have an ordinance that says we're not allowing any more billboards, but we do pass this where it gets rezoned and we do get a LED, do we have any ordinances about LED billboards? And then if this does pass and Mr. Tyler does get to put the LED up on the other side of the interstate, there's 3 or 4 between 4th Street and 5th Street. There's the potential that all of them billboards could go to LED. So I wanted to point that out. Robin covered the somebody approaching the house on South on the south side at Main and Classen about offering to buy that individual out. The landscaping that south lot, like she said, there's nothing in writing, so would landscaping that south property, would that be considered the planting of some flowers, or maybe putting a couple of rocks there? I just think that if this thing is to pass, that we need a engineered drawing of what's going to be there and what is going to be maintained, how often is it going to be maintained. Then, Mr. Roberts, you were saying that we're not going to be affected by the LED because it will be facing north, and you said that the expense of a double-sided LED is too expensive. Well, if Mr. Tyler makes $500,000 a year off advertisement and the LED only costs $250,000, a year from now, he could do the south side in LED. I just wanted to point that out. You said that they're useless, and Laura got up here and talked about it being a historic neighborhood, and they've always been useless, and let's leave them useless. You know, don't encroach on the neighborhood. And then the last thing is, if it does pass, then it brings down our property values, and I think the city and the county loses on tax revenue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tyler, would you like to speak on this?
I'll try to discuss some of the issues that they are talking about. As far as the LED message board being on the north face of the sign, if this is I-35 right here, billboards on I-35 are V. So the people that live back of the sign, on the south side of the sign is going to be like this. It's going to be facing to the north, to the highway. There will be no light trespass as that light changes or flashes. In front, it faces the highway. The sign is 46 foot tall, so it's up above everything to begin with. So if you can imagine this sign being how tall it is, if you've gone and done your homework on it, you've seen the sign. So the LED message board shows only to the face of the highway. And the arrays in the message board, they come out to the point of the LED lights. It doesn't have trespass on each side, like the floodlights have. That sign now has floodlights on it, and there'll be less floodlight. I mean, there'll be no more trespass of lights than the south face has got right now, because the south face won't be changed. As far as the south parcel of property, I spoke with Mrs. Fain early on about doing some type of landscaping, and I told her, it is not in writing, but I did explain to her that if she would come up with a landscaping plan and it was all right with the city, I would landscape. I will pay for the landscape. But I can't come up with landscaping plans without someone giving me the plans, and we'd be glad to take care of it as long as it's a reasonable cost. The site screening on parcel 1, if it is approved, that parcel, I think most of you council people understand, that parcel is 170 feet along the service road. It's 155 feet along the west side. It's 31 feet on the north side, and it's 95 feet on the south side. When you take in the easement for the streets, for Main Street and for the side street of I-35, I don't know how much room you got left on the land. I mean, if we talk about putting a site screening on it, which that is certainly possible too, there are no plans for the south parcel. I don't own the south parcel at this present time. I have it under contract. If it's zoned, then we will own it. If not, it will remain just as it is right now. Does the council have any questions that I might address?
Mr. Tyler, have you approached homeowners about purchasing homes in that area?
No, I have not.
Okay, because she had said that you had approached one of the houses there on the south side of Main Street for purchasing that home.
No. Early on, there was a party that when the old house was a little white frame house, before the gentleman put brick on it, early on, there was a real estate person came to me and wanted to know if we wanted to buy that little white frame house to put a billboard on. And I said, no, we already have a billboard and we don't need a billboard there. And besides that, it's not zoned correctly. So that's probably where the rumor got started that we were trying to buy that house. We don't need the house, we don't want the house, and what would we do with the house unless we bought it and rented it out? It's not zoned correctly for a billboard.
Any other questions? Anybody want to make a motion?
One thing I want to say, I don't know if the sign is exactly the same or not. That the high school has a new LED sign at the field house, you know, the football field. I do want to say that last year I was at a football game and a transformer went out and all the stadium lights went out. And that light lit up the stadium. So again, I don't know how similar they are. I just thought I'd point that out, that for about 20 minutes, the only thing on that stadium was that Jumbotron, and it's not a big one. It lit the stadium up. So I can understand the concern about a strobe effect. You know, there are some homes, when I drove by there today, it looked like there's about 3 homes that are immediately underneath it. I don't know if those landowners are here or not, but I think I would be pretty concerned if I lived there about this going in.
Councilman, I spoke to the landowner that lives closest to it. I don't remember the lady's last name, but her first name is Vera. And she had some questions about it. We talked about it. And at the last planning commission meeting, she had come to speak for the sign if she needed to. Her reservation, she had gone out and looked at other signs, and her reservations had been answered. So
I went back and read through Vision 2020, and I appreciate those that came to live in that neighborhood to speak how they feel about it. And I'll just read a little bit from the plan, Vision 2020. It says, following public input at a public meeting focusing specifically on Old Town, the decision has been made to preserve the residential character of Old Town neighborhoods and discourage further commercial development and discourage the conversion of residential structures into commercial establishments. And I would agree that Moore has lost a lot of its historic buildings. One of the few buildings that we have is our high school. So I would just find it important that we do preserve the historic areas that we do have. And if I lived there, that would be a concern to me, having an LED billboard right there. We do have some at the north end of our city and to the south end of our city, so there are places for those. I just don't believe that in the residential area, updating that sign to an LED sign would be in the best interest of those families that live there.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mr. Ham. I think there's an area for it. I don't know if that area is it. And I'm glad you read that. I didn't go back and look that up, so I'm glad you read that. It does make a good point.
Anybody else?
I'll just make a statement. I was a little bit wishy-washy because I was just waiting for some details. And Dave, I don't really disagree with anything that you've said, but the reality of it is, that's my ward. The folks here have been very plain that they don't want it. And to be honest, I think you have a voice.
Okay. Anybody else?
Somebody from that ward want to make a motion?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to deny.
I'll second.
Motion to deny. We have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
David Roberts,
No.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Robert Kraus,
Yes to deny.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes. Item is denied. Moving on to item number 8, consider rezoning application number 885, located in the southwest quarter of Section 14, Township 10 North, Range 3 West, being south of Main Street and west of I-35 from R2 Family Residential Dwelling District to C2 Neighborhood Commercial District and C3 Neighborhood General Commercial District, and approve ordinance number 71512, application by Oklahoma Land Company. Ralph Tyler, Planning Commission, recommended approval 6-0. This is also in Ward 3. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to deny.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this item? If not, we have a motion and a second to deny. Would you please call for the vote?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
David Roberts,
No.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Robert Kraus,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes. Item is denied. Item number 9 is consider approval of a contract with Traffic Engineering Consultants for monitoring the timing of 19th Street corridor traffic signals in the amount of $1,000 a month. And this is also with a $12,500 annual for the retiming of the signal lights on 19th. Now, this is the $12,500, I understand, is a one-time thing?
Yes, sir. The agenda item is slightly misworded, but the $12,500 is a one-time expense for the retiming of the traffic signals up and down through there. This would be from Fritz Boulevard all the way over to, we're going to Broadway, Stan, I believe with this, to get all those traffic signals timed correctly. As you might imagine, we get quite a number of calls and discussions about that area down there due to the amount of traffic and due to the number of traffic signals that there are down there. They haven't all been timed together in some time, so we do need to do that. The $1,000 a month expense we feel like would be justified, and what that basically would do is that we would install the necessary equipment to have those, all the traffic signals on monitored. We could do that from our offices, or traffic engineering consultants could do that from their offices in real time on a computer, to where they can see what's going on if there's a problem at some of the traffic signals, and they would monitor those basically not round the clock, but frequently monitor the signals. We feel like that this needs to be done just, again, because of the volume of traffic down there and the amount of frustration, frankly, that some of our citizens and some of the shoppers have down there.
So will the $1,000 a month go on until we just decide to stop? Is that how this works?
We can discontinue that at any
Okay.
time. We just would probably see how it goes for perhaps a year to see if it's really making a significant difference. So we believe that it will, but if it's not, we certainly don't want to spend the money.
Is this one of those deals where it's kind of smart enough, it kind of takes care of itself and like recommending how it should be programmed, or does someone look at it, or?
No, I don't think it's going to be that. They just will monitor the signals and how they're operating to make sure there's not any breaks in the
Oh, okay, I got you.
the programs, the timing
Okay,
programs
gotcha.
that are in there. They'll have cameras out there that'll be able to watch what's going on.
Make a motion to approve.
All right.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Thank you both.
And I'm for this, but did we not already do this a few months back?
We did it on the 19th and Tower.
Is that
And
what it was?
Broadway 19th and
I
Tower.
mean, the numbers and everything seem exactly like what we've done. But, okay, that's no big deal.
We haven't done it for the whole length
Okay.
on 19. It needs to be done. And Steve
I
and I
agree.
talked about this earlier. We have some emergency vehicles that has the little button in it that can push to offset those lights. And I think sometimes when they push those, I'm not sure the light resets and they get out of sequence when emergency vehicles go through them sometimes. So, not all the time.
Without this monitoring, the primary way that we have to determine if there's a problem out there is the calls. When we begin to get calls from our good folks out there and realize that there's something going on, and then that really creates real problems out there with the traffic. So we need to keep these things running as smoothly as we can.
Yeah.
There's been a traffic count since 2008, and the traffic patterns have changed with all the new retailers.
And that'll be part of the timing, is that they'll do traffic counts and determine the traffic patterns that are existing out there compared to some time ago.
And I think we'll recoup some of the cost with monitoring this in the office. For some of these things, we may not have to call traffic signals out to the job site as well.
Well, we could definitely pay for this, but putting up cameras out there to give out tickets to people who run that stoplight. Three every time it changes, so there's at least 3. So,
There's plenty of that.
it's crazy. It needs to be stopped, or someone's gonna get killed.
Steve, will this be the lights that are right down there in front of Walmart then? Is that the section of lights right there? Fritz.
From,
Okay, gotcha.
from Broadway to Fritz. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Didn't we already have one?
We had Kathy made
sorry.
the
Well, never
first
mind.
and Robert
Take
second.
that back.
Yeah. Thank you anyway.
I'm paying attention.
All right, appreciate it. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote if there's no other discussion?
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
David Roberts,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Robert Kraus,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. And I would like to make the comment that Senator Sykes is in the audience. He was a while ago. Anyway, I just want to tell him thanks for trying to help us get our bridge on 34th Street. I appreciate all the work he does for us.
Did you say we're getting a bridge on 34th?
No, I said he's trying to help us get one.
All right.
Thanks.
What about an underpass?
Yeah, that's on Main
Okay.
and 4th.
We should have the report on that in early May, the report that we
Oh, okay, good.
solicited.
2025, yeah.
No, I mean the report. We'll have a report quickly.
Okay.
We won't have an underpass quickly.
All right. Yeah. Okay, at this time, we'll recess the city council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. Item number 10 is the consent docket. Item A is receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Public Works Authority meeting held April 2nd, 2012. Item B is ratify action of the city council on approval of auditing services agreement with Dillon and Associates for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2012. Item C is approve ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2011-2012 in the amount of $289,204.12.
Move to approve?
All right, thank you.
Second.
Thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Everybody get their claims questions answered. Any notes or changes to the minutes at this time? If not, would you please call for the vote?
David Roberts,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Robert Kraus,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 11 is consider if deemed appropriate, accept nominations and elect a secretary of the trust. This was Janie's position that she had. There'll be other items on the next agenda for the other positions. We didn't put them all on here this time.
Make a motion to nominate David Roberts.
Second?
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Sounds good to me.
We have a nomination. Any other nominations? Then they're closed.
Terry?
Okay, would you call for the vote?
Sure you don't want to?
Absolutely not.
Would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Robert Kraus,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner.
Yes.
David Roberts,
I'll abstain.
Glenn Lewis.
I'll vote twice for him. Thanks. Motion carries. Thank you. At this time, we'll recess the Moore Public Works Authority meeting and convene the Moore Risk Management meeting. Item number 12 is the consent docket. Item A is receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Risk Management meeting held April 2nd, 2012. Item B is approve ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2011-2012 in the amount of $200,802.47.
Move to approve.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Thank you both. Everybody get their claims, expenses answered, questions answered on this? Any notes or changes to the minutes? If not, we have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Robert Kraus,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
David Roberts,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. At this time, we'll recess the Moore Risk Management meeting and convene the Moore Economic Development Authority. David?
Item A is to receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Economic Development Authority meeting held March the 19th of 2012. Do I have a motion?
Move to
David.
approve?
Sorry, we need to have the roll call first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. You want to call the roll first?
Jason Blair,
Here.
Kathy Griffith,
Here.
Glenn Lewis,
Here.
Terry Kavner,
Here.
Mark Ham,
Here.
Robert Kraus,
Present.
David Roberts.
Here. You have heard item A already read. Now, do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Would you call the roll, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis,
Yes.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Robert Kraus,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
David Roberts.
Yes. This time we will recess the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting and reconvene the city council meeting.
All right, thank you, David. Let the minutes show that all the members that were present before are still present. Item A is citizens forum for items not on the agenda. There's no one signed up. Would anyone like to speak? Item B is items from the city council or trustees.
I would have just one quick thing, that I'm appreciative and grateful for the opportunity to have been elected to the city council. Look forward to working with everyone and the city staff and representing the people of Ward 2. And I also just wanted to publicly say that I appreciate Councilwoman Milam and the job that she did as she served our city so well over the years. And I appreciate that at our last meeting, she said that she was going to be involved in our city government, regardless of whether she's serving on the city council or not. So that's just a good mark of a great leader, and I appreciate the work that she's done, and I hope that I can serve as well as she has over the years.
I was just going to say, welcome to city council. We usually don't have meetings quite like this most of the time, but you know, it happens every once in a while. But anyway, welcome to the city council.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Any items from the city trust manager or city manager?
Just a couple, Mayor. We need to have a budget meeting, so we'd like settle on a date for that, either the 23rd or the 30th, hopefully, next Monday night or a week from, or 2 weeks from tonight. We don't have a council meeting until 3 weeks from now, so we've got the next 2 Monday nights, which seem to work out relatively well. So choose your poison, as it were.
Not going to be films about Italy?
No films about Italy.
I'd rather see the film about Italy.
Yeah.
Might have a few
Slides.
pictures, but
Stephen on a budget vacation to Italy, right? It was, yeah.
Either one works for me.
either one of those dates not work for anybody?
Nah, he wants to get it.
Both. I'll be out of town for
You're gonna be gone
Memorial.
both?
Yeah, sorry, but proceed.
You figured this out.
Just catch me.
Wow, how'd you plan that?
Yeah.
Not even I can plan that.
Are you going to Italy
I'm
now?
sorry.
23rd
Mr.
or
Drake,
30th?
don't let that affect me, please.
Okay.
Either one works fine for me.
Let's do the 30th.
30th?
30th?
Looking better and better.
All right,
30th it is.
we will do that.
What time?
6 o'clock? That work?
Good for me.
Yeah, I mean, anytime, 6
Okay,
o'clock.
6
That'd be
o'clock.
great. Just to let you all know also that our 12th Street project that you let the contract on a meeting or two ago, we're having the beginning work meeting with the contractor this week. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, you'll see the contractor moving onto that project. So that'll be a good day, but that will be a significant disruption of our traffic in that area of town as that project proceeds over the next several months. So we ask for the forbearance of our residents, and we appreciate that. We would also like to have a retreat, council retreat with you all. We've been talking about this, and we would like to have that on Saturday, May the 5th. So we'd like for you to look at your calendars as well this evening for that.
That's
As good as any.
Works for me.
No objections. Hearing none.
I do have a conflict, but I'll try to work that out.
What time would you like to do it?
There's a little memo there, we'll have
8:30
a
to 2.
Oh, wait.
8:30 to, probably till more like 3-ish. But it'll be a good day. Okay, we'll proceed with that then. I just want to also thank Lena and Rhonda and my employees who helped with the reception. We appreciate that. The cakes, I hope you got a bite of the cake. Those came from Delicious, one of our new businesses here in town, and I think they were delicious from what I could tell. There's also a copy of the police chief's quarterly report. There has some very interesting statistics in it there. I hope you'll take a look at and let he or me know if you have any questions about that. And I believe that's it, Mayor.
Okay. All right, item 16 is adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, call vote.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
David Roberts,
Yes?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Robert Kraus,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you for coming tonight.